Fpyq. Chapter 20. Haze. Qi Yunruo's mind went blank. He looked to Li Chen, yet Li Chen did not return his stare, merely turning around and leaving for his study. Qi Yunruo then shifted his gaze to Suji. Only after a long time did he finally find his voice. "Eunuch Suji, have I done something wrong?" Suji smiled. "This is a good thing, so why is young master saying such words?" Qi Yunruo rose to his feet, feeling at a loss. Then, What should I do?" Once more a smile graced Suji's lips. He called a few maidservants over. "Carefully attend to young master Xiao Qi." Before making his way to Ink Lotus Courtyard, Qi Yunruo had already bathed. Still, he let the maidservants remove his clothes without a word. He had decided a while ago to mimic others in currying favor with the prince. From Li Chen's expression, Qi Yunruo could discern many things. Li Chen liked when he had a great appetite, liked when he asked him for things, liked when he talked to him. The prince should be plenty fond of him. Sometimes, Qi Yunruo found himself contemptible. Sometimes, he felt like he had no other alternatives. He only wanted to live well. Having lost his place in Count Xiang's estate a long time ago, he only wanted to forge a path for himself at Prince Chun's estate. Li Chen's expression was dark. The battle at the border had been lost. Yet, his imperial father delayed in choosing a new general. Only relying on Sita was not enough. Although they had nearby troops to support them, it wouldn't be enough to advance in attack. And then there was Qi Yunruo. So he actually couldn't tell Li Chen his true feelings. He could see his unwillingness. His heart hid his thoughts, hid them from Li Chen. Unhappiness flared in the pit of his stomach. He recalled the time when Qi Nikan had still been pregnant and had instructed Qi Yunruo to attend to himself. And Qi Yunruo had cried. It made Li Chen's heart clench. He didn't want to wrong him. But now, he couldn't control himself anymore. Li Chen did not find his preference for men taboo. Like how Prince Jing liked to collect calligraphy, Prince Jing was fond of archery and good steeds, and his fourth brother fancied admiring flowers. Li Chen liked elegant and lively men. Like Ji Huan. But compared to indulging in the matters of the flesh, Li Chen preferred to chat with him. Ji Huan was tall and slender. Refined and tasteful. Li Chen felt comfortable and content keeping such people around. Then, when Ji Huan was to about leave, little Qi arrived. Compared to Ji Huan whose thoughts lay heavy, little Qi was as simple as paper. Li Chen truly desired to conquer him. He desired to keep him by his side. Unfortunately, he could not bear to do so. He looked at little Qi, and it felt as if he were looking at a child, pure and pitiful. Li Chen disliked not knowing all that lay within little Qi mind. He did not want him to become like the other women in the inner courtyard with deep and unfathomable thoughts, where during the time in which the two lay silently in bed, Li Chen would be struck with terror. Li Chen spent a long while in his study. After discussing some matters with his advisors, he took his time returning to his chambers. The moment he had arrived at the entrance, he was struck by shock, recalling the events of the afternoon. As he pushed the door open, he noticed that the net curtains of his bed had been let down. Li Chen hesitated. Then he went to the side room to bathe. Once he had returned, he found the curtains in the same position. It was cold during the month of February. The heavy net curtains hid what lay within. It was totally opaque. He felt his throat tighten. The next day, Li Chen awoke early in the morning. As his eyes had flitted open, what came into view was a bare back facing him. Qi Yunruo's dark locks pooled messily on the pillows. Sitting up, Li Chen saw a few red marks peppering his neck. He seemed to be caught in deep slumber. Li Chen's stare fell upon him for a while, before he parted the curtains to leave. In a soft voice, he called for a servant girl to attend to him. Qi Yunruo slept for a long time. Because Suji had instructed people not to bother him, when he finally woke up, it was already noon. The moment he awoke, he turned and sat up. The covers slid down smoothly down his back. Hearing a bit of rustling, the maidservant looking, who was standing outside, said softly, "Young Master Qi, is your honored self awake?" Without realizing it, he had touched his own throat. It felt uncomfortable. His voice was hoarse. Looking lifted the net curtains and hung them up by the hooks. As soon as caught sight of Qi Yunruo, surprise struck her. She did not hang up the other half of the curtain, turning around to help Qi Yunruo change. Head lowered, Qi Yunruo said in a soft voice, "Has Lulan come over yet?" "Yes. Older sister Lulan arrived with your honored self's clothes earlier." Then she returned. After he was fully dressed, he climbed down the bed. Yet the moment both feet touched the ground, he staggered. Looking hurried to support him. He sat back down on the bed. Eunuch Suji has passed on a message. His Highness said your honored self need not hurry and return. The noon meal will be served here, said looking. If your honored self feels uncomfortable anywhere after waking up, Physician Lu will be sent over for examination. His Highness trusts Physician Lu's medical expertise. Qi Yunruo had not eaten since last night. He leaned against the bed. I want to eat thick glutinous rice porridge. Pair it with a plate of crunchy radish strips. Looking seemed to have sighed before a smile graced her lips. This slave will go inform the kitchens. Looking was someone from Ink Lotus Courtyard that possessed the authority and ability to decide some matters. She, Liu Xian, and Lulan were sisters who came from the imperial palace. They were able to judge a situation well before acting, and were the best at taking care of their masters. She personally helped Qi Yunruo wash his face and brush his hair, before telling the lower-ranked servant girls to attend to him. Before long, Qi Yunruo's porridge and radish strips arrived. Perhaps because it was a meal ordered by Ink Lotus Courtyard, the kitchens also added a plate of pickles and a plate of pickled cabbage. All of which were crunchy and appetizing. Seeing Qi Yunruo with such a hearty appetite, she couldn't help but sigh. What looking had meant was that Qi Yunruo didn't have to rush to return to Lakeside View House. First, it was because Li Chen did not allow for him to leave so fast. Second, it was because she felt Qi Yunruo looked too pale. Today, the weather was frigid. It would be bad if he caught a cold from going outside. Qi Yunruo also did not ask to leave. He stayed at Li Chen's inner chamber for half a day, sometimes taking a nap. The emperor appointed Zhao Weide to lead troops out of the capital. After a date was selected, they would move out. The emperor kept Li Chen after morning court to speak a few words. When we were still in our youth, we had once thought of personally leading troops to battle and exterminate them all. Li Chen said, Imperial Father is still in one's prime. Now the Central Plains is at peace. All around us is at comfort and ease. If Imperial Father lifts a sword and rides a steed into battle, the Qiang people will no longer cause disturbances with our dynasty. The emperor couldn't keep a large smile from spreading across his face. No, no. Your Imperial Father has long since been unable to ride a horse. There are many great and able generals in the world that will fight for Imperial Father, said Li Chen. Imperial Father only needs to devise strategies from afar to protect the peace in the world. The emperor smiled once more and sighed. He did not say much. The Qiang people of the north existed as a frequent concern in his and Li Chen's heart. Unfortunately, the emperor would not allow Li Chen to lead troops into battle. When Prince Qing had brought up the topic in the past, it had only caused the emperor fury. He felt that his 3 sons were really immature. They thought that after learning a bit of martial arts, they could command an army. They were merely treating the lives of their civilians as a joke. If Li Chen brought up leading troops to battle, he wouldn't know what to say. Not bad, the emperor looked at Li Chen and felt satisfied. Li Chen was a person who understood right from wrong. This son would not make things hard for him. Your father-in-law grew up in the barracks. In our youth, the Empress Dowager instructed for us to meet the generals in the military. At that time, Count Xiang was already a talented general. Now he is already in retirement. We cannot bear to summon him to fight." Li Chen said. "Imperial Father shows solicitude for Count Xiang. Count Xiang is certain to understand your honored self's kindness." Mentioning Count Xiang had been the emperor's attempt to appease Li Chen. When he had felt that Li Chen would have no complaints, Li Chen suddenly said, "Imperial Father, Sun Official knows your honored self's concern. Your honored self is worried that Sun Official would not know when to advance and when to retreat in battle. However, Sun Official swore in the past that in this life, Sun Official would personally lead troops to battle without fail. Sun Official is willing to lead 100 of my estate's guards as a commander of 100, following General Zhao to the frontier pass. Even if it's to be at the back of the battlefield to help count rations, Sun Official is still willing." In one swift motion, the emperor's expression sank. End chapter. Fpyq Jiang. Chapter 21. Each other's intentions. "Commander of 100, the emperor said, taking his time to utter the word. Li Chen made sure to sound firm. "Yes." The emperor suddenly recalled his teenage years. Back then, Empress Dowager Lan taught him how to handle court matters. She had always sat behind him as she did, leaning toward him. She would reach forward and point to the things on her lesson, her voice gentle as she said, "Young emperor, look." The emperor took in the sight of the young man before him. Empress Dowager Lan had taught Li Chen well. After leaving the Palace of Merciful Peace, he had kept her teachings at heart and became an honest and good man. Now, he had his own family. At that moment, the emperor felt proud. "In our youth, we were unable to leave the capital for there were too many with their own intentions around, their sights glued to us and the Empress Dowager. But now, because we are here in the capital, the princes can guard the capital. And during this period of lofty aspirations and high ideals, he can naturally check on the tigers and wolves in the west, can check on our foreign aggressors. We will consider it." Li Chen's expression relaxed. The emperor's gaze fell upon him once more and he smiled. "Return for now." Li Chen dropped to kneel and then retreated. The moment the news of the emperor's agreement had spread to Genshung Palace, the empress and the fourth imperial prince had just started a round of chess. As usual, the empress was acting generously during their game. She saw that her son's heart wasn't in it but did not reprimand him for it. The fourth imperial prince hesitated for a while, before saying, "Imperial mother, should this Sun Official also request from Imperial Father permission to follow second brother and temper myself?" The empress placed a piece on the chessboard. Upon her lips was a smile as light as a cloud. "For what reason?" "One would fear that the result of your request would be the same as Prince Qing's. But if Sun Official were to make a request, it would not be to ask Imperial Father to grant troops. Sun Official would mimic second brother and become a commander of 100, only bringing 100 men to the border. Back then, third brother had asked for tens of thousands of the best troops." The empress said, "Yet in your Imperial Father's heart, your and Prince Qing's motives are the same." Her tone grew increasingly cold as she spoke. The game had yet to end, but the empress called a servant girl over in a magnanimous manner to pack up the pieces. She slowly said, "However, your second brother is different. He will just be a commander of 100. Zhao Weidou will not dare to call your second brother to the front lines. Let us see." Once the imperial exams ended, the fourth imperial prince would move to his own estate. Then in May, he would marry Marquis Wooding's eldest daughter, Miss Su. As the empress thought this over, the corners of her lips tilted upward. Count Xiang had already retired and relinquished his army. The Marquis of Fpyq had also done so. On the other hand, the eldest young master of Marquis Wooding's household had military experience since long ago. This time, among Zhao Weidou's men were troops under eldest young master Su's command. Once Li Chen had returned to his estate, he made for his study. After he had stayed there for 2 hours, the sky had grown dark. The days were usually chilly as the weather was growing progressively colder. From the sky flakes of snow occasionally tumbled, pale and soft, melting once they hit the ground. Chi Yunruo had taken a nap during noontime and he had slept until that moment. He did not have much of an appetite. Holding a bowl of porridge, he stirred the contents with a spoon. It wasn't until a while later that he took a mouthful. The brazier had long since been stored. When he had felt the bite of winter in the afternoon, Chi Yunruo draped one of Li Chen's thick robes over himself that Looking had brought. He had read some of Li Chen's books, which were mostly novels used to pass time. After Li Chen had his meal in the inner courtyard, he went to see his 2 daughters. As he watched on, an older female servant tried to prompt Yan Er to say father and mother. Yan Er cut an adorable figure, with a cherubic appearance paired with very pampered actions. Li Chen held her to his chest for a while. Chu Er would eat until slumber and sleep until it was time to eat. A smile danced on Chi Nikan's lips as she said, I hope Chu Er will be as smart and wise as her elder sister. Li Chen did not say anything, opting for a smile. Then Chi Nikan turned to Consort Wei, who was by her side. After this concubine gave birth to Chu Er, this concubine now knows how much of a hardship labor is. Since this will be Consort Wei's first birth, hopefully your highness will visit her often. A thought flew through his mind. Yet Li Chen only smiled once more. The princess consort is thoughtful. This concubine hopes that the other concubines can help propagate your highness line, said Chi Nikan. To have many children crowding the knees will bring this concubine much joy. Her gaze was magnanimous, not the slightest hint of avoiding his own. Li Chen's heart trembled with anger. The princess consort's words held another meaning. He took a sip of tea and after a short while, rose to his feet to leave. Granny Song worriedly watched the prince's departing figure. The words Your Highness, the princess consort, had said might have caused his highness discontent. Chi Nikan concealed the worries and misgivings in her heart. She calmly said, in the past, when the prince estate did not yet have a main consort, a single man obstructed the growth of his highness line. The harem was vast, yet the prince only had one son and daughter. At present, how can I watch as Chi Yunruo becomes the second Ji Huan? Granny Song's response proved ruthless. Truly a mother and son pair of foxes. He himself is rotten, frequently swaying his hips in front of his highness. He even bought out the people around the prince. Compared to that Ji Huan who had left, he's even more worrying. Chi Nikan grunted in acknowledgement. Originally, she had thought the prince was just amusing himself with men, treating them as playthings. His method of adjusting. But after hearing Consort Ji's words, she couldn't guarantee it. If the prince had in fact grown enchanted by Chi Yunruo, then it meant Chi Yunruo was another person who had measures. She feared she would find her way on Consort Ji's beaten track. She had severely miscalculated. Chi Nikan closed her eyes, heavy from exhaustion. Back then, she should have just brought Chi Dangxia instead. Chi Dangxia could only see the present, her schemes easily detectable. She wasn't like Chi Yunruo. What lay on his mind, Chi Nikan could not fathom. Now that the prince had kept Chi Yunruo in Ink Lotus Courtyard overnight, what could she do? There were too many people in the prince's estate. Places where there were many people would not have any secrets. Yesterday, Chi Yunruo did not return to Lakeside View House and the people of Ink Lotus Courtyard had called Lulan to send over her master's clothes. Chi Nikan, Consort Ji, and Consort Wei all heard the news. She did not yet know what to do. Previously, Consort Ji had visited her residence with sincerity. She did not exaggerate when she spoke. Did not dress up her words in fancy brocade, relaying only facts. Apparently, when she had been in need of an ally to keep the prince's favor during pregnancy, she summoned Ji Huan to the estate. Consort Ji had thought that the prince would appreciate her thoughtfulness, but following her 1-month confinement after childbirth, she found that she had lost favor. One mustn't believe that the inner courtyard existed as solely a woman's world. For the sake of getting what they desired, men were capable of much more than women. According to Consort Ji Huan held a grudge against her. Who knew what he had said about her in front of the prince? What he had said to make the prince treat her colder and colder. After hearing her words, Nikan felt even more pressured than Consort Ji. Consort Ji already had a son, yet she herself only had a daughter. And once she gave birth to an outstanding son, she did not want the prince to have other women. She balled her hands into fists, knuckles glowing white. Would Qi Yunruo be like Ji Huan, talking poorly of her in the prince's presence? Qi Yunruo. If anyone saw her face now, they'd be terrified. With an indifferent expression, Li Chen returned to the forecourt. As if he had not placed Qi Nikan's words into his heart. Used to drinking tea after a meal, Li Chen helped himself to some fragrant and elegant green tea, Magian Er. Liu Qing placed a tray with a tea set in front of Qi Yunruo, and then made to stand at the side. Li Chen glanced at the youth. If no accidents occurred, his imperial father would allow him to bring his men to the border. At that time, what would happen to Qi Yunruo? When he had still lived with his grandmother, she talked about the mother of Prince Fu and Prince Yu, the most beloved and favored noble consort Bao. That woman was extremely prepossessing with a heart full of poison. If it weren't for her, his grandfather would not have had a body full of illness and leave the world at such a young age. Whenever his grandmother mentioned these topics, she held a neutral expression, yet her gaze would betray a heavy sorrow. From then on, Li Chen learned how to guess the intentions of the women around him. Consort Ji was known for being arrogant and wild, Consort Wei was indifferent and reserved, the princess consort was proud and self-possessed, tertiary consort Li's heart was unmotivated, concubine Ying did whatever she could to curry favor with everyone. Where there was a hole, she would attempt to push through it. He thought of his imperial father. Everyone had said that his imperial father and imperial mother shared a harmonious marriage. With 2 legitimate sons, she should have had an unshakable position in Li Chen's opinion. However, his imperial father boosted noble consort Yuan to suppress his imperial mother. And he also favored a group of young women, the new arrivals of the imperial palace. Then what about his imperial mother? No matter how respectful she seemed toward the Empress Dowager, her heart bore a grudge. Li Chen thought this must be why she was so indifferent toward him. The ways she treated his 4th brother and himself were completely different. Reaching for a cup of tea, Li Chen told Qi Yunruo to sit by his side. Qi Yunruo did not have his hair arranged. It was merely tied simplistically, with a golden crown perched on top of his head, exquisite and pleasant to the eye. However, Li Chen found it too eye-catching. He took in Qi Yunruo's body shape and weight, as if he were deep in concentration. Qi Yunruo had lowered his head previously, and under the intense stare of Li Chen, he glanced up. The moment he realized Li Chen's stare, however, he dropped his head even lower. A while later, as though he had thought of something, Qi Yunruo once again raised his head to smile at Li Chen. Li Chen's heart swirled with complicated emotions. Little Qi was not like Ji Huan. Toward himself, Ji Huan was transparent, and it was due to the latter's wealth of wisdom and intelligence. He was straightforward and did not hide anything from Li Chen, allowing him to see his sincerity. Whereas, little Qi tried to conceal his thoughts, yet foolishly made them clear for others to see. The result was that Li Chen appreciated Ji Huan but did not love him. Yet ever since he had laid sight on Qi Yunruo at the watery corridor, Qi Yunruo had left behind a trace in his heart that was difficult to erase. After enjoying the tea, Li Chen wrapped his arms around Qi Yunruo, pulling him close, caressing his body. A soft gasp escaped the youth's lips, followed by a moan. It brought a smile to Li Chen's lips as he drank in his image. Pure joy flaring within, Qi Yunruo felt hotter and hotter. As if he were burning up, his pleasure building wave upon wave, crashing onto the shore of his heart. Drowsiness overtook him, and he did not know when he had fallen asleep. The next day, he woke with a yawn, not wanting to get up and get dressed. A while later, he finally sat up and called out, looking. Ah, this slave is present. Putting on his outer garment, Chi Yunruo said, I'll trouble you to have a servant girl send Lulan a message, return 250 grams of silver to guard Fang. Looking did not ask for any other explanation, merely nodding before she left. The prince estate had rules regarding the monthly allowances of the masters. There was no need to weigh the silver. Lulan wrapped a 250 grams piece of silver in a handkerchief and Chi Yunruo went to find out if guard Fang was on duty today. Before that, however, he had another thing on his schedule. Feng Yuan had been punished with the rod and was still groaning in pain while laying in bed. Chi Yunruo went to see him first. He felt guilty, for if it weren't for him, Feng Yuan would not be in such a state. Feng Yuan sighed. It's not your fault. The human market is full of different types of people. It was I who took the initiative to bring you there and caused you to meet those scoundrels. Chi Yunruo poked Feng Yuan's back, causing Feng Yuan to yelp in pain and glare daggers at him. I don't know why His Highness was so furious. You belong to His Highness, said Feng Yuan. How would His Highness not be mad when another man touches you? The prince did not care the slightest that Chi Yunruo had purchased 2 servants. All of a sudden, Chi Yunruo grew stiff. A moment later, he felt strange. He truly belonged to Li Chen now. Belonged to a man. From now on, he could not look at another man in the open, could not chat with another man, or work together with one. He suddenly felt that the piece of silver wrapped in his handkerchief burned to the touch. He left Feng Yuan with his mind in a blur. He handed the money to Liu Qing and asked her to send it guard Fang. As he returned to Lakeside View House, everything around him seemed so far away. Sounds were muted, colors were dim, as if they were not there to begin with. Chi Yunruo recalled his childhood. He had once dreamed of being a high-ranking general, of leading troops to war. After reading and writing some articles, he wanted to become a small official or copy documents. Then Count Xiang and the Countess changed his fate. Never had Chi Yunruo thought he would be married off as a dowry escort. Send a dowry escort. Long time ago, a concubine was considered a female servant to the fathers, husbands, and sons of nobility. The status grew higher as the years passed, but with the characters stand and female used to form the character of concubine. Concubines could only stand at the side of the principal wife. Could only stand, not sit. Both words carried the character for female. As such, Chi Yunruo could not find his place. Come nightfall, after he was told Chi Yunruo would be returning to his residence, Li Chen uttered and understood lightly. Then he made his way to the inner courtyard. The moment Chi Nikan heard Li Chen's words, she was shocked to her bones. Your Highness wants to go to the northwest border. Li Chen nodded. The ordinary men all have their duties, much less us. Chi Nikan twisted the ends of her robes, not knowing what to say at the moment. As Li Chen noticed her actions, his heart softened. He said reassuringly, with General Zhao and General Si around, apart from having the status of a first-ranked prince, I am just a nobody. Who would notice me? Yet Chi Nikan appeared close to tears. This concubine does not understand. This concubine's great-grandfather and grandfather were renowned generals who fought at the border. My father has also guarded the border for many years. Your Highness is a man and is also part of the imperial line, using your mental and physical efforts for the sake of this dynasty. This concubine is only worried about your honored self. Li Chen sighed. I will protect myself. And he stayed overnight at Winter Plum Courtyard. When Chi Nikan came to in the morning, she helped Li Chen pack his luggage. Once Li Chen had returned in the afternoon from court, he saw that Chi Nikan had not yet finished packing. He had told his imperial father he would bring the guards of his estate. His imperial father also did not grant him additional troops. However, the Qian New Guards supplied him 20 men. The Empress also sent 2 youths from the Zhou clan to follow Li Chen as personal guards. Their skill in martial arts were incredible. The Emperor and Empress did not spread the news of the men he received. In his study, Li Chen personally listed the people coming with him, writing down the names of his trusted guards one by one. A while later, he wrote down the last name. Qi Yunruo. End chapter. Fpyq Jiang. Chapter 22. Getting along. Qi Yunruo soaked his feet within his inner chamber. The house was still and quiet. After Li Yisui brought the basin of dirty water outside, he climbed into bed and prepared to fall asleep. Suddenly, he heard the sound of hurried footsteps. In long, brisk strides, Lulan approached. "Young master mustn't sleep yet. His Highness will arrive soon." He sat there in a daze. Li Yisui stood outside, her expression darkening as soon as she heard those words. During the afternoon, some low-ranking servant girls had called Li Yisui over to Winter Plum Courtyard. Back then, she had not felt happy about seeing Li Yubai and the others. In fact, she had been laden with anxiety while en route. Once she had arrived, they interrogated her about the circumstances between the prince and Qi Yunruo. About how they had gotten along. Yet Li Yisui had nothing to say. The prince seldom came to Lakeside View House, and even when he had, he would only come to chat with third young master. The most the prince had done was drink a cup of tea before leaving. As such, Li Yisui had no idea why the prince suddenly favored her master for 2 nights. "It's late," said Qi Yunruo, sitting up from bed. He poked his head out from the curtains to get a better look. "I should just stay in bed." Thinking Li Chen would stay the night, Qi Yunruo waited for a while. After Li Chen had returned, he made a few instructions in the main chamber, but Qi Yunruo could not hear them clearly. He waited until Li Chen had bathed and dressed in his sleeping clothes. When Li Chen had finally stepped foot in the chamber, Qi Yunruo said, "You're here." He had wrapped himself generously in the covers, leaning against the pillows stacked behind him. Said covers hung by his shoulders, exposing part of his white inner garment. His hair was tied low and fell upon one side of his chest. Li Chen smiled. "You sleep early." Qi Yunruo moved to make room for Li Chen. The space where Li Chen now sat felt warm to the touch. "Does your honored self feel it's too early?" asked Qi Yunruo. "I can accompany you for a chat." Li Chen waved his hand to dismiss the servants. He held one of Qi Yunruo's hands in his own, gazing upon it. White and delicate, with long, elegant fingers. As Qi Yunruo lay down on his side, not a word escaped his lips. He wasn't that tired and still had some energy. He stared at Li Chen's hand. Felt the light calluses on his palm. It gave Qi Yunruo the impression that Li Chen had a lot of strength, capable of shooting arrows, riding horses, and whipping said horses to go faster. He was caught in a trance, before lightly saying, "During my youth, I would play with the boys outside. But since I could not beat them in a fight, I wanted to take a teacher in martial arts." Li Chen smiled. "Then what happened after?" "After that? I don't remember. Anyway, I didn't get to learn. In fact, it was Count Xiang who opposed him learning the Qi family's generations of martial arts. The moment the sons of the Qi family knew how to walk, they would pick up the saber, spear, sword, halberd, battle axe, hook, and pitchfork, a large assortment of weapons. Having a lowly bastard son, one born outside the estate, Count Xiang feared that Qi Yunruo would tarnish the reputation of his household. Li Chen said, "When I was 6 or 7 years old, no matter how cold or hot the weather was, I would wake up early in the morning to hold squats. At the beginning, my legs would hurt at night to the point of not being able to fall asleep, but I endured year after year." The sons of the Qi family were all tall and large in build. The one who looked the most delicate was Qi Yunchen, yet his body was still stalwart. After a period of thought, Qi Yunruo also broke into a smile. "Men should naturally be large and tall. A smile still on his lips, Li Chen lay down on the bed. Little Qi, the name Qi Yunruo, who came up with it for you? My mother. A while later, he said, in the beginning, I wasn't called Qi Yunruo. My surname was Shui. Full name Shui Ruo. Li Chen was not surprised, although it was his first time hearing his name. Qi Yunruo's appearance was strange from the start. Count Xiang was a hereditary first-rank count, a title conferred by the founding emperor of the dynasty. The title had already been passed down for 4 generations and had never been demoted. While Count Xiang's estate had a few unworthy male descendants punished by the household rules, or removed from the genealogy list, the family abided the rules strictly, renowned for such in the capital. In the past, although the imperial censors had attacked Count Xiang for his visits to brothels, his illegitimate child never appeared in public. Until the day of Li Chen's marriage, when he saw on the dowry list a youth added as a dowry escort. Naturally, Li Chen found it strange. Count Xiang did not seem like a person who would so openly and honestly send off his son as a dowry escort. Yet things clearly progressed in this fashion. Since then, Qi Yunruo was no longer a part of the Qi family. Rather, he was now a male dowry escort in Prince Chun's estate, both his body and mind belonging to Li Chen. Sleep. Li Chen patted Qi Yunruo's back. One nod later, Qi Yunruo quickly surrendered to slumber. The next day, when Li Chen awoke, Qi Yunruo did as well, albeit still in a daze. Once Li Chen had dressed, Qi Yunruo draped a robe over himself. He sat up on the side of the bed. But after he had finally become more awake, Li Chen was already about to leave for court. Qi Yunruo glanced at the sky outside. It was dark still. Li Chen saw him slipping on his shoes and said, "There's no need for you to come out. Continue to sleep." Yet Qi Yunruo had already gone to his side. With a smile blooming on his lips, Li Chen reached out and stroked his face. But he did not say anything as he left Lakeside View House. Qi Yunruo tried to fall back asleep. Before he could, however, he heard from the outside the shrill voice of an unfamiliar eunuch, along with the voices of Lulan and Li Yisu. Qi Yunruo rose to his feet. "What's going on?" As Lulan entered through the door, her expression did not speak of good things. "Her Highness, the Princess Consort, has said that from now on, your honored self must come pay respects in the morning." He lowered his head. Thought for a moment. "Starting from today?" "Yes. It is said that the secondary consorts have arrived as well." The eunuch who passed on the message said he had tried reaching them before. Yet in the end, His Highness stayed overnight at Lakeside View House, and the eunuch did not want to bother them. Therefore, he came early today to let them know. He gave off an arrogant impression, as if he did not place the people from Lakeside View House in his eyes. Qi Yunruo stood there without a word. "So I'm already a member of the harem." He wore thick robes to combat the weather outside. As its name suggested, Lakeside View House was situated near a lake, and stood between the forecourt and the inner courtyard. It wasn't far from Winter Plum Courtyard. Trailing him was Lulan and the eunuch Yuji. As they walked, Lulan said, "The estate does not have a precedent for this. For this reason, it will depend on what Her Highness, the Princess Consort, decides. If Her Highness tells your honored self to pay respects every day, His Highness would have no reason to deny her." Qi Yunruo nodded. Anxiety resurfaced in his heart. He felt more and more unclear about his position here. Being with Li Chen wasn't difficult for him. Li Chen was gentle and considerate. Sometimes, his heart would beat with joy when they were together. But after Li Chen left, being a man in the inner courtyard would prove difficult. He could find himself abandoned in the future due to old age, or an even more miserable fate. Winter Plum Courtyard was already before his eyes. The moment Qi Yunruo entered, he was quiet. Up ahead, Qi Nikon's gaze slowly fell upon him. Consort Ji's stare was especially full of ill will. She felt that her grievances with him had increased. When Qi Yunruo saw the hateful look in her eyes, a wave of uncertainty crashed into him. He did not know how he had offended her. In fact, he had only seen Consort Ji once, and didn't even remember how she looked like. Consort Wei sat at the side supporting her abdomen. Her cheeks were rosy, on her lips was a smile that, depending on how one looked at it, seemed to both exist and not exist at the same time. The other tertiary consorts and concubines did not dare to look at them, keeping silent. Concubine Ying Chu, appeared to be deep in thought. Then she smiled. Indeed, it is only from your highness, the princess consort's household, that such a superb character will exist. A good child that will have a good future. This slave sees young master Xiao Qi and truly feels inferior. Qi Nikan's smile did not quite meet her eyes. Really? Ying Chu did not feel awkward, face still carrying a smile. But she kept looking at Consort Ji. Consort Ji sent a sideways glance at Qi Yunruo. Her voice seemed to alter between sudden loudness and sudden softness as she said, "We cannot compare to young Master Qi. Although young Master Qi does not yet have a rank, he has His Highness and Her Highness support. Compared to us, he is more noble. Perhaps in a few days, we will be the ones needing to kneel and perform the full ceremony of greeting to young Master Qi." For a moment, Qi Yunruo fell into his thoughts. When Qi Nikan had first married into the estate, he had to kowtow to and greet Consort Ji and Consort Wei. He glanced at Qi Nikan. Her expression was dark. Qi Yunruo then knelt before her. "Paying respects to your highness, the princess consort." Qi Nikan grunted in approval. He rose to his feet and then dropped to his knees facing Consort Wei. "Paying respects to secondary Consort Wei." Consort Wei lightly smiled. "I don't dare." Once more did he stand, before kneeling in front of Consort Ji. "Paying respects to secondary Consort Ji." Consort Ji lifted the teacup by her side. She separated the tea leaves with the lid and blew at the steam. Took a small, dainty sip. Then she looked at Qi Yunruo. Her gaze dripped with disdain. The start of spring proved frigid. He knelt until his legs grew numb. Yet no one told him to rise. Qi Nikan stared at him, expression cold enough to freeze. She truly had never thought that, after sharing a heart-to-heart chat with the prince, and even shedding tears for his sake, he would not return to Winter Plum Courtyard the next day. Out of 4 days, he visited Qi Yunruo 3 times, making her believe Consort Ji's words more and more. That like how Ji Huan had taken away Consort Ji's position, Qi Yunruo would push the principal consort, herself, aside. However, a smile graced Qi Nikan's lips. In the coming period, the prince would not be at the estate. With Qi Yunruo in her hands, wouldn't he have to do whatever she wanted? After Consort Ji had enjoyed watching Qi Yunruo kneel, she said, "Oh my! Why is your honored self still kneeling? I can't afford it. Your honored self's status is very noble, a blood-related brother of Her Highness, the Princess Consort. The most favored person of His Highness currently. I fear that with just one word of pillow talk, I would meet disaster. This concubine begs your honored self not to hold it against me. Don't be like the common me." Qi Yunruo rose to his feet without a word. He staggered. Lulan, who was standing not too far away, rushed over to support him. As Qi Nikan looked at Lulan, her brows drew together. Then she shifted her gaze to Consort Ji. She felt contempt toward her, because all the maidservants whose name started with Lu once belonged to His Highness. And now this servant girl had witnessed how Consort Ji bullied Qi Yunruo, while she herself came out clean. She said to the people around her, "Bring a chair for him." Sitting in the seat of honor at Winter Plum Courtyard's main hall was Qi Nikan. The 2 rosewood chairs carved with hollow floral patterns below belonged to the secondary consorts. The 4 tertiary consorts each had their own simple 4-poster chair. The other concubines stood behind them. 2 maidservants brought over a tall stool and placed in the last position. Qi Yunruo took his seat on it. In a few days, His Highness will be leaving, said Qi Nikan. The estate's rules must not be slacked on. In fact, they must be held even more strictly. I hope everyone will abide by them. First, do not ask about matters occurring in the forecourt. Second, do not ask for information outside of the estate. Third, curfew will be pushed forward 1 hour. Fourth, once His Highness leaves, the clothes and accessories of the concubines must not be too eye-catching. And last but not least, may everyone remember to pray to Buddha for His Highness' safety during one's leisure time. His Highness is working hard, calming his imperial father's worries. Us sisters have been in the estate for a while, and should be familiar with protocol. The concubines stood and curtsied at once. Yes. However, Qi Yunruo was shocked during the whole ordeal. His Highness was leaving? Where was he going? For the sake of calming His Majesty's worries? There's war at the border? He needs to go to battle? What else? His Highness. Why did His Highness not tell him last night? As Qi Nikan glanced at Qi Yunruo, her expression was one of unadulterated unhappiness. A light laugh left Consort Ji's lips as she sat back down. Speaking of rules, Your Highness, the Princess Consort's brother, young Master Xiao Qi, should be ignorant of them. Her words threw Qi Yunruo into shock. He quickly stood. And then he realized that everyone was sitting down. From one corner came a snicker. Qi Nikan waved her hand in annoyance. You can leave. In a few days I'll have an older female servant inform you of the rules. Yes. As he left, he felt their disdainful and hateful gazes boring through his back. He also caught someone say, "Ah, a man in the inner courtyard, hee hee." The road back home was more quiet than the road to Winter Plum Courtyard. Yuji was a man of few words, and Lulan did not know what to say at the moment. Those people all look down on me, said Qi Yunruo. Lulan forced a smile and said reassuringly, Young master, what is the point in thinking about these things? His Highness seldom visits the inner courtyard. They are just jealous. Your honored self should not be like them. He shook his head. Those women are jealous of me, but what do I have? Since long ago, I've been the same type of people as them. They are right to be jealous of me. I am a bizarre existence in this place. They see me and find me strange, as if I should not be here. But apart from here, I do not belong anywhere else. Lulan lowered her head. Her heart was full of worry. Her master had offended many people, whether it was the main consort or other concubines or supervisors of the staff. After His Highness left for the border, no one would be there to protect him. How could her master handle this? A smile slid across Qi Yunruo's face and he shook his head. Why am I thinking about these things? I am already a person belonging to the prince's estate. How things should be done will be done like so. I don't have another place waiting for me outside. From now on, we will close our doors and blow out our candles early. Whether I have to wake up early to pay respects or not, I will still pass my days as usual. Lulan also smiled. That young master thinks like so is a good thing. If we don't step foot outside, they cannot bully us, Yuji gently said. Qi Yunruo nodded. Exactly. However, Yuji and Lulan were not as relaxed as him. They understood the inner courtyard more than Qi Yunruo did. To mess with someone was in reality too easy of a task. The high-ranking princess consort or the other secondary consorts need not use their own hands to punish him. There would already be those who wanted to curry favor with them and deal with Lakeside View House on their behalf. As Qi Yunruo went on ahead, Lulan whispered to Yuji, "Thank goodness we used to be from Ink Lotus Courtyard. So even if they wanted to mess with us, they wouldn't go too far." Yet Yuji was of another opinion. You came from Ink Lotus Courtyard and master is someone who sleeps by His Highness' side. Do you think those people will actually hold back? All of a sudden, it were as if terror had struck her heart. Later, as Qi Yunruo ate the morning meal at Lakeside View House, he asked, when will His Highness leave? Lolan also did not know. This slave will ask. His mood sank in an instant. He slowly said, it's fine. Since His Highness did not tell me, there's no point in asking. Understood. Come nightfall, the prince did not visit Lakeside View House. When it came time to sleep, Chi Yunruo had people lay down the mattress. Lolan's worry grew. I want to sleep, he said. Tomorrow, I must rouse early, so remember to wake me up. This slave understands. Yet as he lay in bed, he found that he could not catch the coattails of slumber. He tossed and turned in bed all night, falling asleep for a moment and then waking in the next. The sky was still dark and quiet and lonely when Chi Yunruo sat up. End chapter.